Joining us now is the vocal coach to the stars, Valerie Morehouse, from the hit ABC TV show Nashville. Thank you so much for joining us, Valerie.
Thanks for having me, Heather.
And as you know, I was telling you earlier, I'm a huge fan of the show. What is the most surprising thing to you, just working with those actors and getting them to the ability, not only that they could sing and sing well, but actually be on the radio?
Every actor is at a different level or phase. Some of them had some singing experience before, some of them more than others. But every single voice is very, very different. So it's been very challenging to kind of get them all on the same page. The other aspect to that is they have these very, very long filming days, and we have to do the music element. So it puts a lot of pressure on them.
Did you think they would all be able to pull it off?
It was questionable. There were a few that I had some questions on, but for the most part, again, they all had some ties or roots in music. Some further along than others, but I knew that I could get them there. So I was confident that whatever they lacked, we could give them the proper tools to finish the job, and we've all been just so pleasantly surprised.
Were you surprised when they asked you to actually play really yourself on the show?
Well, that was a funny story. I was in Nashville and I was there to record with Connie, and I looked at the script because we were trying to work something out, and I noticed that the following script had a vocal coach in it. So I jokingly said something to one of the powers that be, the music supervisor, and I said, hey, do they have someone for this role? Sort of tongue-in-cheek, and she said, we actually don't. And I said, well, I have my SAG card, again, joking, and she says, well, let's make a call. And before I knew it, they had asked me if I would play the role on TV, so it was fun.
My girls, we actually watched it as a family, and my girls love that the two daughters sing.
Oh, they're great.
So were they singers ahead of time, or do you work with them as well?
I do. They have this natural ability on their own. I think their parents are musicians, and they've been singing together since birth, I think, but they are just so talented and just so natural. And the good thing about the girls is they haven't hit that age yet where they're aware of themselves. So I think that it makes it a little bit more fun for them, and they're just a blast to work with. Everybody just really loves them.
Well, my daughters, love to sing, and seeing that and seeing all the success with children and children actors, what is your advice to kids that want to get into singing? Is it something like a coach? You want your kid in baseball, they're going to have a coach. Is that something that you recommend?
I do for certain kids and certain ages. Everybody's a little bit different, but I always go off the child's sort of attention span, how focused they are. All the singers are a little bit different. I think that it's very important, if they're ready for it, to get them in at the right age, because you're thinking of yourself, like you said, an athlete. And I don't think a lot of people pay close attention to that. I think they just think that they can sing, but they don't have the proper vocal health or the method or the musculature to keep up with the rigors of that career. You've got live shows, you've got recordings. And most of my clients now that are signed, they're young, they're having to do rehearsals 7 days a week. It is really, really taxing. And if you think of your body as a sport or dealing with that like an athlete, you have muscles inside your neck that you're overworking and overusing. And so what we do is try to steer the kids in the right direction so they have the right method, they have the right coaching, where the vocal cords, again, like bodybuilding or doing anything athletic, can stand the rigors of press and shows and concerts and having to be on night after night after night. And you can't just do that on your own.
What's your best advice? Do they go for somebody like yourself that's worked with celebrities, that has a track record, their local choir teacher? Kids all over.
That's a hard question to answer because, I came up on that level through the high schools and the collegiate level. And unfortunately, there are some good teachers on the collegiate level. A lot of them are not that great. They maybe haven't had the right training, and it just kind of lends to a larger problem. And so you really do have to make sure that you get a referral. That's my biggest thing, is who's that coach training with, what kind of singers are coming out of that school or out of that teacher's studio, and that's your best bet, because there is no certification for a teacher. It's not like a doctor or anybody, a physician, or even a massage therapist has to have a certification. Vocal coaches, vocal teachers do not. So my best bet for them is just to find that referral in their hometown, find that person that's having a lot of success, and do your research and make sure that all of those people's singers are healthy, that they're progressing, they're moving forward, and that's really, as a parent, where I would start.
And of course, anybody that wants your information, they can go to your website.
They can. I have a girl right now that was sent to me by one of the music producers for Nashville and said, you really need to hear her. Her parents flew her out to LA, and she had a session with me, and this girl's 9 years old, And I've not heard anything like it in a long time. So that's a client I would take on at that age because she has the focus to do it, she has the want to do it. And I think it's just child per child. You have to see where their comfort level is, where their skill set is, and be very, very honest with them and with their parents so that they know, what am I spending my money on? Is this a path we want to go down? And I'm always very forthright with the parents and letting them know what my expert evaluation would be.
Thank you so much, Valerie, for being on our show.
Thank you
and I
for
can't wait
having
to
me.
see everything that you do in your career.
Yeah, thank you, Heather.
All right.
Appreciate it.